Hello friends, welcome to the Global Pulse. Russia to help build 6 nuclear power plants in India, location and design discussed. Kudankulam project also important partner. Russia's atomic energy agency Rosatom said in a statement that new areas of cooperation with India were being discussed. We discussed the construction of 6 more high-power Russian-designed nuclear units at a new site in cooperation with India in building some small nuclear power plants. During Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2-day visit to Russia, New Delhi and Moscow signed 9 agreements in a number of areas including trade, energy, climate and research. During this time, many big projects were agreed between the two countries, in which there was also talk of building 6 new nuclear power plants in India with the help of Russia. Russia's atomic energy agency Rosatom will help India in building these nuclear power plants. The Russian agency has already helped India in setting up the Kudankulam Nuclear Power Plant. During his 2-day visit to Moscow, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Russian President Vladimir Putin at his official residence Kremlin. The two leaders held tea discussions here and later took part in bilateral talks during which Russian state-owned Rosatom offered to help India build 6 new nuclear power plants. Russia's second-largest bank held talks with India on efforts to ease payment flows as trade between the two countries grows. Rosatom said in a statement that new areas of cooperation are being discussed with India. Construction of 6 more high-power Russian-designed nuclear units at a new site in cooperation with India in building some small nuclear power plants. There have been conversations. Rosatom offered India the technology to build and operate a floating nuclear power plant this year in May. Russia is currently the only country in the world to have a floating nuclear power plant on water. This nuclear plant is assembled on the academic Lomonosov ship. Electricity is being supplied to Pevek in Russia from this floating nuclear power plant. Pevek is a Russian port city located in the North Arctic. No country other than Russia has been able to develop the technology of floating nuclear power plants so far. Such a plant can also provide uninterrupted power supply to remote areas or islands located in the sea. Rosatom and India are also discussing developing the transit capacity of the Northern Sea Route. This sea route stretches eastward from Murmansk near Russia's border with Norway to the Bering Strait near Alaska. This sea route is especially important for the supply of Russian oil, coal and liquid natural gas. Russia hopes to transport 150 million metric tons through the NSR by 2030, up from more than 80 million metric tons this year. Kudankulam plant built with Russian collaboration. The Kudankulam Nuclear Power Plant, Kudankulam NPP or KKNPP, is India's largest nuclear power station, located in Kudankulam in Tirunelveli district of the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Construction of the first 2 units of the plant began nearly 2 decades ago, March 31, 2002, under an Indo-Russian deal but had to face delay due to opposition from local fishermen. This nuclear power plant uses VVER-1000 reactors designed by Russian. The Kudankulam Nuclear Power Plant is planned to generate 6,000 megawatts of electricity. 6 VVER-1000 reactors are to be built in this plant in collaboration with Russia's state-owned company Atomstroy Export and Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, NPCL, of which the construction of 2 reactors has already been completed and is also generating electricity. Unit 1 was synchronized with the Southern Power Grid on October 22, 2013, and since then it has been generating power with its rated capacity of 1,000 megawatts. The work of Unit 2 was completed on July 10, 2016, and it was synchronized with the power grid on August 29 this year. The groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of Units 3 and 4 was held on February 17, 2016, and both the reactors are under construction. It is the largest nuclear power generation plant in India producing 6 gigawatts, 1 gigawatt equals 1,000 megawatts, of electricity after all its 6 reactors are commissioned. Both the units of the Kudankulam Nuclear Power Plant are water-cooled, water-moderated reactors. Locals have been opposing the project since it was proposed in 1979. The project was put on hold due to protests. Work resumed in 2000 and the construction of the Kudankulam Nuclear Power Plant, KNPP, began during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. In 2011, thousands of people protested against the Kudankulam plant after Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear accident. He also raised fears of a Fukushima-like nuclear disaster in Tamil Nadu. However, in 2012, Dr. Sri Kumar Banerjee, head of India's atomic energy program, described the plant as one of the safest nuclear plants in the world. In 2011, a public interest litigation (PIL) was filed in the Supreme Court seeking construction of new reactors at the Kudankulam plant and stopping power generation from the already installed reactor till safety concerns were assessed. On February 24, 2012, then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had alleged that some foreign NGOs were behind the protests against the plant. Investigations had revealed that the three NGOs, in violation of foreign exchange rules, used donations received for religious and social causes to incite protests against the Kudankulam plant. The Supreme Court of India gave the green signal to the project in 2013. The Church of South India and the National Council of Churches opposed the power plant and supported the protests against it. Supporters of the power plant and the government alleged that the protests against the Kudankulam plant were instigated by churches and funded by foreign sources. The Tamil Nadu government constituted a 4-member expert panel which submitted a report after inspecting the safety features of the plant. The Tamil Nadu government ordered the plant to be commissioned in view of the acute power shortage in the state. In May 2013, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Kudankulam Nuclear Power Project, saying the nuclear power plant was in larger public interest. Thank you very much for watching. Always stay tuned for the latest news and updates across the globe. Goodbye and see you soon.